Yeah, I think when we left off, we had just finished the interview that ended right at about 10:30 at night on October 5th. Is that right?
Yes.
Later that night, did you and Special Agent Snyder interview the defendant one last time?
We did.
Again in the interview room?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time I will publish from State's Exhibit 3 a file bearing the file name Interview Room 2355 to 0038.
Give me 1 second, Judge. Just want to make sure. No shooting not discussed, Judge. There'll be a little bit added at the end, but other than that, no objection.
Thank you, Mr. Hilliard. Mr. Dean, you may proceed.
I may proceed. We'll see whether I can. All right.
Come back to you.
Hello.
Like we've come in here several times and told you.
It's like I've been opening up everything that I could, and whatever I didn't clarify or say right, whenever I'm clarified, I would never be the reason when something happened to my baby. You gotta understand that. I'm so serious.
Well, they always say it did happen. Just relax. Just relax.
It's hard to relax. And not only have I lost my son this morning when I woke up, he's not there. But by the end of the night, I'm sitting there being told that everything looks like it's my fault. It's my fault because I put my son to bed last night and woke up to him being gone. That's my fault.
Tell us what happened. What happened? There's so many inconsistencies in your story.
How? I've even sat there and got on like 360 for y'all, pulled up anything that I could to show that this is what happened, this is where I went, this is what I did, here's the proof that this is where I went. Every time I'm at my courthouse, you can ask Penny, you can ask everybody that them babies were all in that room. Every single one was in that room. When I went to bed, every single one was in that room. And yes, they were perfectly fine. Yes, they were breathing. Yes, he moved when I touched him. Yes, they were all in there. And they were perfectly okay. Okay? And then I got up, he was gone. You want to talk about a mother's worst nightmare? A mother's worst nightmare is not knowing dang well at all if her child is even okay or not. A mother's worst nightmare is not knowing if you were ever going to even know what actually happened to your baby. It's not sitting there wondering if he's going to get a proper funeral. It's wondering if he's ever going to get one at all. It's wondering if you're ever going to know what happened to him.
Let's just say he's not going to until you let us know the accident that happened.
There's nothing that happened. And I'm going to say that there's no accident. There's no inconsistency. Why? Because I forgot to say something about my hand back up front. And then I came out true about it. Talked to you about
Did
it.
you take a Percocet last night?
No, I did not. I did not take a Percocet right now. I'm going to go piss in the cup for you right now.
What did you do? You took
Right now.
to alleviate the pain last night.
It was the Orajel. There's even Orajel in that freaking Batman thing. There's one that's empty, which is the one that I ran out of when I called and asked to see if I had more. To see if they had more. No. So I got the one from her. Now there's one in there that's empty and there's one that's not. You have to see that in that bathroom is in the mirror. that, and I called it and got through to her. So I asked her, I just straight up said, "Do you still have the mouth problems you got going on?" She said, "Little thing right here. I can give you where she works at.
Where does she
I
work?
can at least give you that. She works at Bojangles.
Bojangles.
Bojangles on 17.
On Akichi.
On Ogeechee and 17. I can give you that. I don't know her
Is
last
she
name.
a white lady or black lady?
White lady. White lady? 4'11" maybe. 4'12".
How old is she?
40s,
Mm-hmm.
late 30s, early 40s.
What kind of car does she drive?
She walks, which is why I had to come all the way to her.
What shift does she work at Bojangles?
I can't tell you that no more. They were not even open up for dinner when I was there and when I was working there, and they are now. So I can't tell you what shift she's working.
What color car was she driving when you met her at the origin?
She lives over there by Chevron or whatever. So she walked up and met me at the front of her neighborhood and gave it to me.
What other cars were there when you met her? Was it any?
There was a tan older car, almost like a cop car Ford something, or whatever, tan sitting in her driveway.
In her driveway or the driveway or at the Chevron?
No, like when I pulled up, I could see, like where she lived at, you could see her walk out of her driveway and walk up, and I'm pretty sure that was in her driveway of the tan car. So, but I've never seen her drive a car at all, ever. She's always walked to work and walked home, to the point that I was giving her rides because it was too hot at one point to do that. So,
When did the cereal spill in the back of the car?
that's been there, I won't lie to you, like over a month. My friend gave me a big old bag of a whole bunch of baby cereal that she didn't have anything to do with. I put it in the car.
What type of baby cereal? Like the
First.
size that you put, like it's almost like a rice consistency?
It's rice or oatmeal is what it is. And
What
it
type
was
of
a-
container was it in?
the actual container itself that comes in from the store.
What does that look like?
It's blue and it's about this big and comes up like this. And it has a screw on top that pops open. Oh, whatever.
And what happened? How did it come?
2 of them that she gave me, she had just opened and she tried it with her baby, her 9-month-old baby, and it didn't work very well with him. So she gave me those and a whole bunch of the other ones that she bought. When I put it in the car, got home, took it out, the bag ripped, it fell, it spilled. Got another bag, collected up what I could, and took it inside. I still have all that baby cereal from that day except for that one.
And just describe to me again when you came home at 10:50.
That was from leaving red.
I was from leaving red, and that's when you went and you rubbed Quentin's hair.
I moved his hair out of his face and did this right here, and when I did, he said, and curled up. Exactly like that. Don't even like, it was like, stop touching me, and curled up.
And then when you left again, when you left to go meet Missy,
He was like 113.
did you go by and check on Quentin as you walked out the door?
Yes. Yeah, and he was fine. He was still in the same position he was in when I moved his hair.
And what door did you walk out?
The back door.
The back door? At what time?
I can't remember exactly what time I walked out. I left the house like 1:13, so I probably walked out about 1:12, 1:11, and got in the car. And I went out the back door because that's where we park all the cars at. That's where we park them all at. So we always only use that back door. That front door is only ever used to set outside to smoke. Or let the kids play in the front yard.
Have you ever left your house without your phone before?
Without my phone? No, I always have my phone on me.
Everywhere you go?
Everywhere I go, work, home, even if it's dead, I have it on me. Always. Now, I do fail to charge it all the time, but I normally,
At any point last night, did your phone go dead and you didn't have a charge?
no. My phone was on at all times last night. It was even plugged in next to the bed when I did lay down. When I did get in the cars, the phone's at 2 or 3 or 4%, so I did plug it in. If it wasn't plugged in, it would have died, and my trips, both times, would have ended, you know, before I even got home. Y'all would have seen the times that I arrived home if it didn't stay on.
Do you normally meet Red out there at the Flowers Tacos area?
In that general area, normally it's ride share that we got ride share across, but it had a lot of people there, and there was Rover going to a board.
Where or who like coordinates with Red?
What?
You or Danny? Or, like who talks to Red?
Honestly, it's got multiple different numbers, so like we message or we call one, or I'll get in contact with like his cousin. His name's there's like one of the first driveways after the red share on the left hand side. One of the very first driveways.
Is it just red crack there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some other lady that lives in the back, but that's none of my business. That's the whole of the property.
Okay.
So,
Is it just you that kind of deals with them, or does Danny too?
and we both do.
That too?
We both do. Just whoever decides to go, if we do decide to go.
Okay. Do they both deal the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
They both do the same thing. And they don't even do nothing more than that. That's just what they do, and they get a hold of pills and get a hold of weed.
Gotcha.
How long a time, minutes, seconds did you interact with Mitzi?
Missy, she walked up. I said, "Hey girl, how you doing?" She said, "I'm good." And she was like, "How's your mouth?" I said, "Good, good." She was taken out, but it's hurting like hell. She was like, "Here you go." So that was literally like probably a 2-minute conversation, and then she went home. And I got in the car and went off.
Did the ordeal give you any relief?
Enough relief to lay down long enough to fall asleep. When I woke up, my mouth was still hurting like hell, but it stayed numb back here. The way that I did it with a cotton ball and putting the Oreo on it, and then just kind of biting down on it, it stayed numb long enough for me to.
You found that the Percocets helped with that some?
I didn't take no Percocets for that. No, I haven't taken Percocets in a long time, and I'm not taking any of them. If I do get them from somebody, it's getting them for somebody. So, no, all I did was a cotton ball. Oreo was on the middle of it. Called it up, put it in my mouth, bit on it. When I bit on it, my saliva going in it, made the Oreo come out and stay in this general area, which allowed my mouth to get numb enough to let go and go to sleep.
All right, I've stopped the playback at 13 minutes and 47 seconds after midnight on October 6th of 2022. Now, you mentioned that you did go through the defendant's phone that day
I did.
manually. You talked about just thumbing through the actual phone itself.
Yes.
Did you look at the Cellbrite extraction that day, or was it just manual review?
For me, it was just manual.
Did you look in her text messages with Danny Youngkin?
Yes.
And in those text messages, did you see anything that was notable to you in terms of unsent messages?
I did.
Can you tell us about that?
There was a drafted message at the bottom that said getting Orajel,
When
or
you
headed to get Orajel.
headed getting Orajel or headed to get Orajel?
Yes, sir.
Pardon me for interrupting you. When you say a drafted text message at the bottom, can you just walk us through? I mean, I think everybody probably has cell phone.
Sure.
Can you walk us through very as clearly as you can what you mean?
Yeah, when you go to text somebody on your phone, you hit the little bubble at the bottom, type what you need to, but you have to send before it actually goes to that person. This was just the draft before she sent it to Daniel.
Just in the box where you type, but you did not hit send yet.
Yes.
Send yet. Okay. On this day, was the defendant kept in the room the entire time?
No.
Was she allowed to go out and smoke?
Yes,
Did that happen multiple times?
it did.
And in fact, on one occasion, did she just show herself out to smoke and walk out?
Yes,
Was she provided with food
several times.
and water?
Yes.
Now, at what point in the day, I guess it's, now we're on the morning of the 6th, right?
Yes.
At what point did y'all decide it was time to wrap up and get some sleep?
Well, we had finished at her residence, and shortly after this interview, we arranged transport for the whole family to return to the residence.
Okay, so did the three who were there in the police station that day go back to the house?
They did.
And Did you stay there working, or did you go home and get some sleep, or what?
I stayed there for a little while and went home for a little while.
Now, I want to talk to you about the following days. Was there an effort made to follow up on the Misty Origel story?
Yes.
And who was responsible for following up on the Misty aspect of that story?
Yes. For Misty, it was Special Agent Snyder.
And when did that happen? I mean, he'll testify about it, but when did it happen?
The following day.
Was there an effort to follow up on Danny's whereabouts on the morning of October 5th?
Yes.
And who was tasked with following up on that?
That was Detective Noble and Special Agent Solomon.
Okay. And was there some follow-up on Paul and when he had gotten home and so forth?
Yes.
And who was responsible for that?
Detective Noble and Agent Solomon.
Did they go out to the warehouse and get timesheets and some video?
Yes, the warehouse where everyone worked.
And there was some mention in these interviews of Henry Moss Jr.
Correct.
And we heard yesterday from 2 FBI agents that were involved in that follow-up
Yes.
From the Augusta FBI office.
Yes.
Now, at some point, did he obtain Henry Moss Jr.'s phone records?
Yes.
And who was it?
I believe we got the phone number from Special Agent Osden, and then we obtained the phone records afterwards.
And was that Detective Wilkins who got Henry Moss's phone records
I believe so, yes.
and relayed them to you?
Yes.
Now, was there follow-up on the vehicle, the Dodge Journey?
There was.
And what did that involve?
A search warrant was applied for and executed on the vehicle where we examined the inside, the outside, and then we also did what's called an infotainment search warrant.
And what is an infotainment search warrant?
So the electrical box that's in your vehicle, that stores data. So what we do is called an infotainment search, and we're just seeing what kind of data is stored in that electrical system.
And what kind of data can you get from those from some vehicles?
From some vehicles, you can get as meticulous as every time a door opened or a light turned on. Others, we don't get anything.
And you as the investigative team tried to do that in this case?
We did.
Was that effort successful?
It was not.
Why not?
That make and model did not have the data in that system.
Okay. But you tried.
We did.
Now, one thing on the vehicle I'd like to ask you about. We heard some testimony from Officer Schenker at cross-examination about a potential spot of blood on the driver's seat.
Yes.
And we also heard him testify that he provided all of his pictures that he took that day to you.
Yes, everyone was in constant contact with each other.
I'd like to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 84. And how many pages is that?
It is 2 pages and 4 photographs.
2 pages and 4 photographs?
Yes.
Front and back?
They are.
Okay, let's see. Two pages front and back.
Correct.
It's on page 1. It's the same picture on the front and back.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Same for page 2.
Yes,
Do you recognize those images?
I do.
What are they?
It is the front seat of the Dodge Journey, one with plain light and the second with the alternative light.
Is that the blue star that Officer Schenker was talking about?
Yes,
Where you can see the spots lighting up a little bit?
correct.
Okay. And is the first picture, can you see the little spots in there as well?
That may be the spots right in the center, but it's not like an apparent red or anything like that.
Okay. Your Honor, I would introduce this as State's Exhibit 84.
No objection, Your Honor.
Why is 84 is it missed?
And I'll publish this in the Journal. All right. On the screen here, are we seeing the first picture in that exhibit?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to zoom in here. What do you see there?
3 small dots.
Do they appear on their face to be blood to you?
No, they don't.
Can you tell whether they're fresh or old?
No, it's not. It doesn't look like fresh blood.
Moving to the next image. What are we looking at here?
It is those same 3 dots under the blue star.
Now, you were aware of this during the investigation?
I was.
Okay. Did you view it as significant?
No.
Okay. In an investigation, does every item that you collect or every observation that you or somebody on the team makes turn out to be important?
It does not.
Can you explain what you mean?
Especially in this type of investigation, but really any, you start as broad as possible, collect as much as possible, and look at every single thing you can. And then you start to realize what's important, what's not. And this is one of those that we did not deem important in our investigation.
Let me ask you a question, sort of for example, about electronic devices. How many phones are we going to be talking about in this case?
Of significance, 3.
Okay. How many electronics did y'all seize from the house in the course of the search warrant there?
Probably over 15.
Okay. Old computers, old phones? things
Thumb
like
drives, CDs.
that? Okay. And we have about like 37 people on our witness list.
Yes.
How many people were interviewed in the course of this investigation?
Well over 100.
And I think we introduced 100-some images that Officer Schenker took at the residence on
Yes.
September 5th. And how many did he take total?
I believe it was almost 400.
Okay. Were some of them in the RV under the carport?
Yeah.
Any reason to think the RV has any relevance to the investigation?
No.
Okay. Were some of them in Billy Joe Howell and Thomas Howell's master bedroom?
Yes.
Any reason to think that room has any relevance to the investigation?
No.
How long do you think it would take to try this case if we were to call every person that you all interviewed and introduce into evidence every picture and item that you all collected at the broad stage of the investigation early on?
Including the canvas that Special Agent Osden provided, months.
Thank you. Now, one more question in reference to the driver's seat and the spots. I have to ask you this. On October 5th, at headquarters, you interacted with the defendant a lot.
Yes.
Was she menstruating that day?
She mentioned that she was, yes.
Okay. And did she have to go to the bathroom a couple of times to apply feminine hygiene products?
Yes.
Thank you. Was there a follow-up with these 3 cell phones that you all had taken that day?
Specifically Leilani's.
Can you tell me about that?
So at Chatham County Police Department, our system's called Celebrate that does the forensic extraction we talked about. Savannah Police Department, though, has a system that can do a deeper dive into the phone. It's called Gray Key.
And what happened in reference to the defendant's phone?
Yeah, Detective Cox reached out to Savannah Police, and they did a Gray Key extraction of her cell phone.
And did that have something to do with the fact that it was an iPhone?
I believe so. iPhones like to be difficult.
Now, was there follow-up done in reference to the Chevron/Azalea issue?
There was, yes.
Can you tell us, generally speaking, about that?
Yes, we went out and looked for video footage in that area. The Chevron gas station as well as Azalea Mobile Home Park both had cameras.
And when you say we went out, were you involved in that?
I was.
And what day was that?
That was on the 6th the following day.
Okay. So you were involved in the video canvas in that area?
Correct.
Were you there when they collected the footage that day?
I was not.
And was there follow-up in reference to the dumpsters and garbage trucks and ultimately the landfill?
Yes.
And who was the point person for that?
That would be Detective Noble.
Now, we heard some testimony yesterday from Special Agent Osden about the involvement of the CARD team. Can you remind us of what that acronym stands for?
Yes, it's the Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team, and we asked him to come down and assist.
Now, were you the lead detective for the Chatham County Police Department at this point?
Yes.
And who was the lead for the FBI?
Agent Brad Snyder.
Did the two of you work directly with the CARD team?
We did.
And can you tell us about what that involved?
We wanted as much information and as many resources as the CARD team could give us. One of those things was a template for a canvas that our team did.
And what did the canvas operation look like? Where did y'all do those things?
So canvassing, easily broken down, was just knocking on every single person's door. We did Buckhalter Road, Gerarda Avenue, into Azalea, as well as I-95 and Highway 204 area.
And what was the manpower requirement involved in this thing, this canvas operation?
We broke out into 3 teams, those 3 separate locations. Each team probably had roughly 30 law enforcement officers.
And how many teams now?
3,
3 teams?
so around 90.
Okay. And how many days did this canvas operation take?
I believe it took 2 days.
And did each encounter involve filling out a questionnaire?
It did.
And those are questionnaires Special Agent Osmond talked about?
Yes.
And did they help you tailor those for this case?
Yes, he did.
I'd like to approach with an object that I do not intend to introduce into evidence, but I would like to just talk about it a little bit. And just to make the record clear on what this is. What is this here? What are we looking at?
This is binder 4 of my case file. It is the template canvas sheets that were filled out.
What size binder is that?
It is a 5-inch binder.
And roughly how many pages of interview form canvas questionnaires are in there?
700.
Did you guys also set up a tip line?
We did.
What is a tip line?
So we just used a extra cell phone, and we put up a voicemail advising people to call this number, or excuse me, we put about a notice advising people to call this number if they had any information on Quentin Simon's disappearance. And then a voicemail was set up asking whoever was calling to give us as much information, and we would call back if it was something to follow up on.
Was that something that was done on the advice of the CARD team?
Yes.
As part of the best practices in investigating a child disappearance,
Yes.
possible abduction?
Yes.
Tell me about the manpower involved in responding to tip line calls.
One of the detectives at all times was assigned to the phone and to follow up on each one of the voicemails that was left, to review them to see whether or not they needed additional follow-up.
Does the Chatham County Police Department have a dive team?
We do, yes.
Was the dive team involved in on October 5th, 2022, or the days following?
Yes.
What is a dive team?
So it's, I think it's in connection with Marine Patrol, but it's scuba divers who have the proper qualifications and do search and rescue.
And did the dive team do anything in this investigation?
Yes, they did.
Can you tell us about those things?
Yes. Behind the residence is a in-ground pool that had a layer of algae on it, and standing above it, you weren't able to see inside. So the dive team went in and made sure there was nothing inside the pool. As well as during our canvas, there's several ponds in the area, and they made sure to look through those as well.
I think you've already said that you did receive the defendant's cell right extraction from Sergeant Coleman of the forensics unit.
Yes.
And did you review the extraction of her phone?
Yes.
And did you find any evidence in her phone revealing anything about the state of her relationship with Danny Youngkin in the days, weeks, months leading up to October 4th?
Yes.
Can you describe that to us in broad terms, please?
Through their text messages, it was pretty apparent what kind of relationship they had.
Anything other than text messages?
There was some concerning web searches as well.
Any videos?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
There was a clip that was recorded on August 6th of 2022 where Leilani was blaming Daniel basically for the suicide that she was about to go commit.
Now, have we prepared a couple of exhibits capturing the things that you just described?
Yes.
Do you see in front of you an exhibit marked as States 18?
I do.
Can you tell us what this is?
It is a series of text messages between Leilani and Daniel.
And were those pulled from the cell right extraction performed by Sergeant Coleman?
They are, yes.
Do you see a disc marked as States Exhibit 19?
I do.
What is that?
I believe it is the suicide video.
The video that you just described?
Yes.
And do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 20?
I do.
And what is that?
It is a web search that was found on her cell phone.
Okay. You are out to introduce these items in as States 18, 19, and 20.
Any objection, Mr. Zerby?
With regard to 18, Judge, no objection. Is there 19 or 20? No objection as to 19. No objection as to, I think, the photograph. And no objection as to number 20, which is...
Okay, so states exhibits 18, 19, and 20 are admitted without objection.
Your Honor, at this time I'll publish States Exhibit 18. And may I have a seat?
Yes.
Thank you. on the screen here slide 1 of State's Exhibit 18. And what I'd like to do with this exhibit is just have you tell us the date of the message and read the message, okay?
So this was sent on 7/12/22. It says, I want to feel beautiful, not barely average. I want to feel loved, not just liked. I want to feel wanted, not just tolerated. I want to be able to look at you and know it's just me, not wondering how many others there are. I want to feel like my body is worth showing off, not like it's just been trashed from having 3 kids. I want to feel the way you made me feel in the beginning, like I'm treasured and safe, not like I'm just here because you really don't have a choice.
Slide 2.
Sent on 7/15/22. And I damn sure ain't the reason why you talk to other bitches in the first goddamn place or you put your dick in to begin with.
Slide 3.
On 8/6/22. Yeah, go get yourself some ass. I know mine is good enough. Never was, never will be.
Now, the video that's been introduced into evidence is State's Exhibit 19. When was this video? Were you able to tell when the video was filmed?
Yes, we were.
Okay. What was the date that video was filmed?
On August 6th.
At this time, I will publish State's Exhibit 19.
To Sky, Zane, and Quinn. Mama tried. Your mama's not here no more because she doesn't want you. I do. I can't love myself. If I can't love myself, how can I love y'all? I have tried over and over and over and I failed. I screamed for help and I don't get it. Sky, you are such a beautiful little girl. I wish I could watch you grow up. I wish I could hold you for your first heartbreak because my mama didn't. Sky, I love you, baby girl. And Zane, you were so handsome, so sweet, so protective. You were gonna be such a good man one day. Just a good man. I hope you grow up and you learn what loyalty is. And you learn how to treat a woman and how to love a woman. And Quentin, baby, you are a middle child. You're so happy all the time. You smile all the time. I wish I could be with you. And Danny, I loved you. I loved you with all of me, all of my heart. I loved you. I worshiped the ground you walked on. When we found each other, we were both in such fragile states. And I built you back up. I would do anything for you. But during this time that I was building you back up, you were doing things that would eventually tear me back down.
Wi-Fi equipment included and a free streaming box.
And even now, after everything that I think has been brought to the light, hopefully it was everything, right? Even now, you look at me with the same look in your eyes that you have when you talk about Caitlin. I don't hear the love in your voice anymore. I don't feel the love in your touch anymore. And I definitely don't see the love in your eyes anymore. If you truly loved me like you claimed you did, you wouldn't have done all that. Even when I was carrying your child and hating myself every fucking day, crying myself to sleep every fucking night because you did not want to have sex with me. You did not want to love me. You just did not want me. And I wanted you. I wanted you. I wanted you more than life itself. But you've proven that it was only one way. That feeling was only one way. That love, that loyalty, it was all one way. You take care of my kids. Okay? You couldn't take care of me. You couldn't love me. You couldn't do me right. So please, for the love of fucking God, do my kids right. And I can't do it up at the river now. Bye, Daddy.
All right, moving back to State's Exhibit 18, slide 3. So is it the case that that message on slide 3 was sent the same day that video was filmed?
Yes.
Slide 4.
This is on August 22nd in 2022. There's no being past it when you have done nothing to make me feel better about myself, when you have done nothing to make me feel like you still want me, like you did before, so stop.
Slide 5.
This is on September 9th. Hope you had fun with whatever bitch you met up with.
Slide 6.
Also September 9th. You can take everybody else's feelings into consideration, but you don't take mine. You can hang out with everybody else, but you don't want to hang out with me when I want you to.
Slide 7.
September 9th. I really fucking wish I never drove to North Carolina to meet you. That was the biggest mistake I could have ever made.
Slide 8.
September 9th. No matter how much I stress how I'm feeling, you don't give a shit. No matter how much I scream and cry, you don't change nothing. You say doing the same thing or being even more distant or hanging out with anybody but me.
Slide 9.
September 10th. You're the reason I'm angry every day. You're the reason I'm depressed, why I feel the way I do about myself.
Slide 10.
September 10th. When I was pregnant and moved down here for my kids, you chose other women or porn to satisfy you, not me.
Slide 11.
September 10th. When I need reassurance, you continue to change password to hide phones to have it on silent.
Slide 12.
These are both on September 17th, and they are requesting for Daniel to join Life 360.
So that text in the box, would that be text that she typed or more like a link that she sent to him?
A link.
Requesting that he do what now? Reading those first few words?
Join my Life 360 circle.
Can you tell us how far apart these two invitations were in time?
24 minutes.
Slide 13. This one is exceedingly difficult to make out on the screen, so can you walk us through what slide 13 is?
So these are both on 9/18 all 4 of these are on 9/18, and they're all the same hyperlink sent to Daniel.
Separately.
Yes.
Slide 14.
Sent on September 21st, I'm tired of begging for sexual attention.
Slide 15.
Sent on September 21st, I'm not good enough to fuck. Not good enough to even try to fuck.
Slide 16.
Both sent on September 21st. No, I don't feel amazing. I feel like I'm a girlfriend that you got to hide your shit around because you don't want me to know what the fuck you're up to. I feel like I'm just the person that you keep around because you're comfortable with me, not because you want me. I'm tired of feeling like I'm sexually worthless.
Slide 17.
On September 21st, no, I don't know you love me. I know you're comfortable with me. I know you're used to me. I know you don't want me to love anybody else, but I do not think you love me because you do not want to have sex with me. You do not want to spend time with me if you do not want to do anything with me anymore.
Now, slide 18, this one looks different from all the other ones, right?
Yes.
Was this one, in fact, taken from Danny's phone?
Yes,
But is it from the defendant?
it is.
And can we tell that because of the phone number and the way he has her saved?
Yes.
All right. And he had her saved as what?
Lonnie baby.
Now, can you read this message for us, please? Well, actually, let me ask you this. When was this one sent?
The day before Quinn's disappearance was reported.
Okay. What date and time specifically?
October 4th.
At what time of day? And look carefully before answering, please.
It's at 1:49 a.m.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and read it, please.
So I fell asleep on the couch for a min after I came back in. Woke up because Sky was starting to fuss. So I made her a bottle, right? Then as soon as I'm about to crawl into bed with you, I hear my phone go off. So I go to check it, and it was Life 360 saying, ask Daniel to charge his phone. So when I opened the app and saw that your phone was at 1%, I won't lie, it made me start to think again, and there is a possibility that I'm just overthinking. But here are what my thoughts were. He knows we gotta work in the morning. He was just on his phone literally right before he laid down. Why didn't he plug it in? Well, he said he wanted me to be nice, so I guess I'll plug it in for him. My dumbass literally grabbed the charger and then went to grab your phone, but guess what? What happened when I got to that point, Danny? I couldn't find your phone. I don't understand how you expect me to believe when you say I'm not doing anything wrong or I don't have anything to hide, when one, you never let me look at your phone without a fight, even when I offer mine in exchange. Two, you always 24/7 keep your phone on you when you're awake and hide it when you're asleep. And three, never leave it around me at all. SMH. Even when we have work and your phone is almost dead, when it's time to lay down, you still choose to risk it, possibly dying and us missing work. All because what? Because to me, it's because you have something to hide. Because why else would anyone do anything? Because why else would anyone do the things you do if they weren't hiding something?
Do you know what SMH means?
Shake my head.
And so this would have been in the middle of the night before the morning of the trip to the dentist?
Yes.
Was there an effort made to follow up on what exactly happened at the dentist?
Yes.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 21?
Yes.
What is that?
The top page is a certification of medical records from Aspen Dental. And then the following pages are the medical records from Leilani Simon's dental work.
Specifically the dental work on the morning of October 4th.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would offer these in the States Exhibit 21.
This is Exhibit 21. Mr. Hilliard, any objection?
No objection, Judge. It has an affidavit in business record.
All right, and 21 is admitted without objection.
we don't need to belabor this, but do these records show that she did in fact have a tooth pulled that morning?
Yes.
Now, during this investigation, did you follow up with Michelle McCarty?
I did.
And did you conduct interviews with her?
Yes, I did.
Did you conduct an interview with her daughter, Talia McCarty?
Yes, I did.
And did you conduct some follow-up on Quentin himself?
Yes, I did.
Did you obtain his past medical records?
Yes,
And is this a normal step in a child death case?
it is.
Where did you yourself get medical records from?
The 2 search warrants I did were from the local pediatrics office. Well, locals in Georgia. But
What was your goal in getting his medical records? To get some of them, to get all of them, what?
all of them.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 27?
Yes,
And do you recognize that document?
I do.
What is it?
It is a search warrant order for medical specialists in Waynesboro, Georgia.
What type of practice is that?
I believe it's a pediatric medical facility.
And how did you know to go there for Quentin's medical records?
I believe it was in interviews with Leilani, the family, as well as Billy Joe.
That's a past pediatrics clinic that he had been seen at.
Yes,
And did you send that search warrant to that practice?
yes,
And did they turn around to you his pediatric records from there?
yes, they did.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as States Exhibit 27.
No objection.
Admitted.
Now, what is States Exhibit 28?
It is a order, an additional search warrant for some more medical records.
From what practice?
It is the J.C. Lewis Primary Health Care here in Savannah.
I thought J.C. Lewis was a car dealership. Is that not the case? Or?
I guess they have several buildings.
Okay. So they have a pediatrics clinic or indigent care clinic or something like
Yes.
that? Okay. And was that Quentin's last pediatrician?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did you send them this search warrant?
I did.
And did they turn around his pediatrics records to you?
Yes, they did.
Your Honor, I would introduce this in States Exhibit 28.
No objection.
It's admitted.
Did any other detectives involved in this case get additional medical records for him at your direction?
Yes.
And who was that?
Detective Cox.
And did she provide the records that she obtained to you?
Yes, she did.
Did you incorporate all of the medical records you got into your case file?
Yes, I did.
And did you turn them over to our office
Yes, I did.
so that they would be turned over to the defense as well?
Yes.
Now, do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 23?
Yes.
Do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
It is a search warrant sent to Verizon.
And what number is it for?
It is for 912-547-5275.
Whose phone number is that?
Leilani Simons.
Did you send that search warrant to Verizon?
Yes, I did.
This is a search warrant you prepared?
Yes.
And did Verizon turn responsive records around to you?
Yes.
They gave you her phone records?
Yes.
Do you see a disc labeled States Exhibit 24?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
It is the response I received from Verizon containing Leilani Simon's cell phone records.
Did Detective Cox also get some cell phone records in this case?
Yes.
Did she provide all the cell phone records that she got to you?
Yes, she did.
And did she obtain records from Life 360 directly?
Yes.
And did she provide those to you?
Yes, she did.
Were all of the phone records obtained in this case and the Life 360 records provided to the FBI for analysis?
Yes, they were.
And were the cell phone extractions, both the 3 cell write extractions and the 1 gray key extraction, Were those provided to the FBI for analysis?
Yes.
I would introduce states 23 and 24 into evidence, Your Honor.
Your Honor, with regards to states 23, subject to the court's ruling regarding some of those text messages, we don't have any other objection other than that. What was 24 again, Tim?
Records from the carrier themselves.
Let me reverse that. As to 23, no objection to the search warrant, Judge. As to 24, no objection, subject to the court's ruling on those text messages.
All right, thank you. 23 is admitted, 24 is admitted subject to the earlier ruling.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 25?
Yes.
What is that?
It is a emergency situation disclosure from Verizon. It's a form they had us fill out.
Okay. And what was that form for?
It is for cell phone records.
What's the area code that you are looking for records for?
It is 706 area code.
All right. And whose phone number is that?
Henry Moss.
All right. What's the full number?
It is 706-526-1978.
And who sent this to Verizon?
Detective Wilkins.
Okay. And did he receive responsive records and provide them to you?
Yes, he did.
Do you see in front of you a disc marked as States Exhibit 25? Correct. I'm sorry, 26.
Yes, 26.
If you don't, just tell me.
I have 26.
Okay. What is that?
It is a response from Verizon for that phone number.
Your Honor, I would offer 25 and 26 into evidence at this time.
No objection to 25 and 26, Judge.
Thank you. 25 and 26 are admitted.
Have I formally offered 28, Madam?
I don't believe so.
Madam Clerk has.
Was search warrant or for JC or medical?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I just don't remember whether I actually offered it or not.
Yes, you did.
And it's been admitted.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, you testified about the fact that Special Agent Snyder went out and talked to Misty, right?
Yes.
And that you all did this video canvas at Chevron and Azalea, right?
Yes.
And I think you said that both of those things happened on the 6th or the 7th or something along those lines?
Yes.
On October 8th, did the defendant come to the FBI office in Savannah for an additional interview?
Yes, she did.
And who conducted this interview?
Bridget Brock.
Is she an FBI agent?
Yes, she is.
And did she come down from Quantico, Virginia for the purpose of interviewing the defendant?
Yes.
And were you present in the building for that interview?
Yes, I was.
And were you watching it in real time?
Yes.
Were you in the room?
I was not in the room.
How were you watching it in real time?
Through the security camera in the room, we put it up on the monitor and watched.
Okay, so you were watching on like a live feed from a different room.
Yes.
Do you know the video recording equipment in the interview room that the defendant was in to have been working during that time period?
Yes.
In fact, you yourself conducted interviews in that room with other people.
Yes.
And have you reviewed the videos from those interviews?
I have, yes.
And do those interviews fairly and accurately depict what was said between you and your subject?
Yes.
Do you see in front of you a disc marked as States Exhibit 22?
I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you know what that is?
I believe it's the interview from the October 8th interview.
Now, has that one also, as with the October 5th interviews, been redacted to some degree to comply with orders of the court?
Yes, it has.
Does it otherwise fairly and accurately depict at least the relevant portion of Bridget Brock's interview with the defendant on October 8th?
Yes.
Now, did Bridget Brock confront the defendant in this interview with the fact that video footage showed her not stopping at the Chevron, but rather pulling into Azalea and remaining stationary at the dumpsters for 2 minutes?
Yes, she's directly confronted with that.
And what did the defendant have to say to that?
She says that that did not occur.
Did Bridget Brock tell her that Misty had been interviewed and had told the FBI that she hadn't seen the defendant that night?
Yes.
And what did the defendant have to say to that?
She says it did occur, that she did talk to Misty.
Did the earlier 204 trip also come up?
Yes.
And what did she say on the 8th about what the purpose of that trip was?
To pay off a drug front for marijuana.
And is that the same story she had told about it on the film?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, at this time I'm ready to publish this interview. It is, however, 12:25, and I will throw that out there before I do so.
How long